Ever find yourself a little excited about the rapture coming soon? You must be one of those crazy Christians. What do you do when even people that should agree with you think you're a little over the top? There's a story in the Old Testament about King David, who was the man after God's own heart. The people had turned away from God. God let the Ark of the Covenant get stolen, which was where his presence was, and that just broke the heart of David. So when the people turned their face back towards God, God allowed David to find the Ark of the Covenant and bring it back. Once again, they had the presence of God to lead them, to guide them, to keep them safe. David wasn't just happy, he was overjoyed. David was so excited that he danced, crazy danced, got so hot he took off his kingly clothes and he was in his underclothes just dancing around in front of everybody. His wife, who was the daughter of the previous king, was horrified. He was not acting like a king. David said, "Hello, presence of God back. This trumps demeanor any day." And he continued to dance and thank God. David's wife did everything she could to steal his joy. She said, "That is not the way we behave here." There are joy killers all around us right now. I mean, our enemy would love nothing more than if we were depressed. And of course, fear, his favorite tool to use, if we were terrified of what's coming. That's why God told us what is coming. Not only the terrible times ahead, but the ultimate end. The new heaven, the new earth, the millennium, eternity. The wonderful things he's been planning for us. The times that are ahead that are getting dark are a blip in history compared to what lies ahead. But because we are in the middle of them, it's easy to lose our joy. During the church shutdowns, I was really surprised how many believers that I knew who had always been really, really vocal about their relationship with God. How many of them just instantly shut up and just never talked about God again? It was really sad. Today, I find that Christians seem to be some of the biggest joy killers about the rapture and about what's coming any day now. The reason Revelation is the only book that has a promise to bring us super happy joy if we'll read it and let God help to keep us through this time is because God wanted us to have peace and joy, literal joy, during this time. Joy about the rapture is not only reasonable, but it brings God joy, just like David's dancing. God knew ahead of time that the Ark of the Covenant was going to come back and David was going to be happy. He knew that David was going to dance. But I got to imagine he just sat back and laughed and soaked in David's love when he danced and danced. Well, God has been working on what's going on in our world today for thousands of years. He's been preparing our next location, like we prepare a major gift that we research and we save for and we get so excited about. That is just a tiny, tiny picture of the excitement that God has at preparing an entire new world for us. He can't wait. Jesus told his people in 2 Peter that in the last days, and that is now, in the last days, scoffers are going to come. People that are like, nah, that's just old Bible stories. That stuff's not real. God's not really coming. We need to focus on saving the planet. That's what we need to do. Jesus said those kind of people have deliberately forgotten that God created this earth. Not accidentally, not by not knowing. They deliberately forgot a long time ago. Why did David dance? Because he had a really close relationship with God. He didn't want to be without him. And a lot of people there that day did not understand, did not think it was appropriate for him to behave that way. But have you ever really, really, really loved someone so much that you didn't want to be without them for a single second? God was kind enough to me to bring me a perfect man. Not perfect in the earthly sense, but definitely perfect for me. We've been married almost 30 years now. And in those 30 years, the only word I can ever think of to describe how I feel for my husband is the word adore. I just simply adore him. It goes beyond love. I can't explain it, and it honestly doesn't make sense to a lot of other people either. My sister recently said, "I've never heard anyone talk as nice about their spouse as you do." Is he perfect? No, he's just perfect for me. I adore him because he's a gift given to me by God. As believers in these last times, I kind of think that our level of anticipation, whether it's really reserved or it's the pajama dancing kind, is an absolutely rational, expected expression of someone who has actually spent time deeply seeking to know God through His Word. If I had an acquaintance that I hadn't seen for a very long time, that I liked, that I knew I was going to see again at an upcoming business event, I would look forward to that. That would be nice. If it was an old friend of mine that I hadn't seen for a long, long time and we were going to get together for lunch finally, I would be a lot more excited. I'd put it on my calendar, and I'd make sure I didn't forget. But if it was somebody I adored, somebody I deeply, deeply loved that I hadn't seen in a long time, I wouldn't just put it on my calendar. I would look forward to it. I would think about it every day, every waking moment, knowing it was coming. And if you find you're just super excited about Jesus coming to get us soon, you've got to know how happy that makes the heart of God, to know that you adore Him like that. God told us in His Word that we are not destined for wrath. He didn't say we'd never be uncomfortable or times wouldn't be scary. In fact, He said they would get scary, and they would get more and more scary, but that we were to not be afraid because we know our ultimate end. But God is not slow in keeping His promise. As we understand what slow is, He's patient. He hasn't just been patient with us who know Him, but He's patient with every human being, not wanting any one of them to die without knowing Him. But the day is coming, and it'll come like a thief. That day when we are already with Jesus. Jesus says that the heavens, the sky, the universe are going to disappear with a roar. All of the elements of this earth will be destroyed by fire. But He didn't just leave it there. He said, now that you know that that is what's coming next, what kind of person do you want to be? Jesus says we should live holy and godly lives. David didn't let his own wife, the daughter of a king, steal his pure joy at having God close to him again. And we're about to experience something that the Bible says even prophets yearn to see. Time is so short. If you don't know that you know God, now is the time to talk to Him. The Bible says there is no your version of God. There is only one God. He reveals Himself through the Bible. And if you know God right now, start dancing. Let people see your excitement. Other Christians really, really need to see it. Those that don't know God, God tells us they won't understand it. But the Bible says that God's people will. And until that blessed day, take every chance you can possibly find to tell your story about how you know God. I'll see you on the other side.